Hello and welcome to another episode of the Trash Talk Podcast. I'm gentlemen, today I have Sergej. Sergej, how's the weather?
Hello. It's fine. I like the temperature.
I figured since that's all you ever talk about when I ask you how you are, we can skip straight to the point. Okay. Speaking of points, the point of this episode is, I mean, we have multiple segments, but the first topic, at the very least, which is what we always start with, it's almost like enumeration has a point there, is superheroes, right? So, Sergej is going to guess something about superheroes. He's going to guess names and powers and whatever else we feel like.
Yes,
whatever.
Because it's going to be funny because I don't know shit about superheroes.
But we're not making it easy, which, I guess we could have started easy, but we decided to use obscure characters. Now, obscure is a relative term, but I didn't choose any A-listers or anything like that, so while it is certainly possible that some of our viewers might be familiar with one or two of those characters, they're not necessarily the most well-known either. Now, to begin.
Yeah. And if it's not the most, most well-known ones, I definitely don't know them.
Okay, Sergej, name 5 superheroes. Let's start with that.
Batman, Superman, Deadpool, I guess.
He's more of an anti-hero, but I'll count
Flash. Yeah. Wait, Doctor Strange is one.
Yep.
Spider-Man.
We're already at 6, I said to name 5, so you are doing fine.
Okay.
So, I noticed that you have more of a tendency towards DC in there, rather than Marvel, which is interesting because for me it's the opposite way, so that makes it even harder for you, not that I would expect you to know any of those characters. And the first one is right here. Let's...
Oh, God, this is not gonna be easy. Is it?
Oh, no. Honestly...
Oh, shit.
First of all, your audio is fritzing, like, way hard. And second of all, I did not choose these based on difficulty at all. I just basically chose the first characters that came to mind that are, like, not very well known, that I thought were, like, interesting enough characters. So, this is not necessarily about how easy or hard it is for you to guess.
Oh, God. So is my audio still fucked up?
No, it's fine.
Oh, okay.
I was expecting to ask if it was better, and so, yeah.
Okay, so this is, I don't know, Mr. Trashman or Punkman or whatever hangs around at, what's the word for it? Like, where all the garbage is collected. I kind of blanking on it.
Right. Like a dump? Like a garbage dump? Wait, is there...
Yes.
Is there a better word for that? Like landfill or something, yeah.
I'm sure there was. I'm sure there was. Yeah, landfill. Landfill, I guess, works.
Some to that effect, yeah.
Yes, and he has some, I don't know, acidic power that he can use to acidify people or something, I don't know.
Okay, so let me guess. So the trash thing is just from the way he's dressed, and the acid thing is because he's green?
Acid thing, yes, from the way he's dressed, yep. Trash man from the way he's dressed and like the background being like all earth and
honestly,
the tracks of
I have no idea what the background
or whatever it is.
But okay, I think I'm gonna give you the guy's name, and then we're gonna go again and see if you have any better ideas on what his powers might be. His name is Leech.
So he can leech powers from others and use them himself.
See,
perhaps
that is almost what I expected you to say when I said his name was Leech. In effect, his ability is actually that he nullifies powers. So he doesn't absorb them, but he does take them away temporarily. So he's basically just sort of an active power dampener,
that
right?
makes sense.
Or rather, a passive power dampener. Like everyone around him, just
like an anti-superhero
gets
kind of character.
Now the character himself, he's just a kid, I think, and he's a mutant. And I'm not sure how much they've actually used him in stories. I remember there was like one or two stories where they used him to specifically depower characters with more detrimental power sets, like Hazmat, for example, who's radioactive. So it's like, oh yeah, you're radioactive. That's not useful.
Yeah, that's kind of inconvenient. Yeah.
So yeah, that is Leech. And the next character, and this is the very first character that I ever thought of when we were going to do this topic, is this guy right there. I think he's also the only DC character on the list, not that matters, but...
So, from the picture, I guess his superpower is that he can just, like, plop his limbs off. I don't see how this is useful at all. I guess he can exchange them for, like, limbs of other people if he detaches them somehow. Maybe he can even reattach his own limbs to them, sort of like just exchange them. Gotta say no clue on the name though.
Okay, so the power is actually just that he can detach his limbs, and I think he can then also reattach them. So his own, that is. The other stuff that you made up there would be interesting and useful, but is not part of his power set. He has had multiple names over the years, but the name that I think he's most... I think the more recent one was like Split or something like that. But the one that he's actually known for is his original name, which is Arm Fall Off Boy. Which is hilarious, and I love it. Now, the best part is, there was actually a live-action version of him, so he's, in a way, maybe the least obscure character of the bunch, because he was in a movie. Right, so the movie version looked a little something like this. Actually, this one is maybe a bit too zoomed in, almost. Why? You get the idea, those are arms.
Wait, do his arms just float?
So, in the movie version... Or
are they in the process of flying away?
In the movie version, he does actually telekinetically control his arms, or remotely control them, however you want to describe that.
Oh, okay.
So
that is actually useful.
It is actually more useful.
Yeah, I can see that.
They also renamed him because, the previous name was not very cool. So in the movie, he's called TDK, which is short for The Detachable Kid. Okay. So that is Arm Fall Off Boy, who I just had to show to you. Which already brings us to our third character.
That is amazing.
I think we're getting fairly quickly through this. I have 5 in total, so after that we're gonna be gone. But let's have a look at...
I mean, nothing wrong with a short topic. Especially considering the last however many podcasts we had were almost 2 hours.
Yeah, fair enough. It's another one where you have very
Mr. Lizard Man or something. I don't know.
There's actually There's actually a character called the Lizard. But that's not related.
Okay, I assume it's not him.
No.
Okay. His power. There's like lots of black stuff dripping from either him or whatever he's holding up.
If I had to guess, I'd say from whatever he's holding up, but it might very well be something that has to do with him. Well, actually, I don't want to go into detail. I really want you to guess first. That's how we're going to start.
Yes. I mean, I guess just because he's like a superhero or something, he has like above average strength and stuff. So I'm like, but that's not gonna be his main power thing.
I think it's possible that he has increased
his gimmick
strength, but like it's not definitely not his default main power.
Yeah.
I could give you a hint, but I kind of want to have at least a guess first.
I have no clue. Like, what are lizards known for? Like, maybe he lives long. Is like less affected by radiation or something. I don't know.
I think he does live long.
He has a sharp mind. He's kind of dressed like a private detective or something.
I believe he's a private investigator. Yes, he's not really a traditional superhero in the sense, but I think he was a private eye. So yeah, that's actually a good observation. I think he does. I think he has lived very long already, and I think there's no necessity for him to necessarily die of natural causes. But I will tell you that you have pretty much guessed his entire power set already when you were talking about other characters.
Wait, what? Oh, detachable limbs or something?
Well, I mean, everyone's limbs are detachable if you think about it.
I mean,
if you try hard enough.
I mean, there are some lizards that can just like detach their tail or something. I don't know if that's kind of relevant here or not. I assume not.
So, first of all, I don't think he's a reptile. I think the green has another meaning here. Although I'm not 100% certain of why he's green exactly. But
he does look like it, though.
He does. He does always have those weird spikes from coming from his face. They used to look a lot more extreme in older versions. Tone it down a bit.
I guess on powers already. I'm so clueless right now.
Okay, so first of all, the character's name is Terror. That's probably not going to help you. We don't necessarily know what his real name is, but the only name that he has been given as a sort of regular name is Shrek, which I find very funny. I don't know if it has anything to do with the Shrek character. As a matter of fact, I'm not even sure.
Oh, right, I haven't guessed. Oh, no, I did guess the name.
Did you? Actually, okay. Well, you said something like Mr. Lizard Man or something.
Yeah, something really generic.
His powers, he does technically have two powers, but they are related. And one,
I mean, probably like guessing from his name being Terror, like he's like probably got some good intimidation techniques, or like his intimidation is like double as powerful or whatever.
I mean, just look at the guy.
Maybe.
He's probably
yeah.
So his power is twofold, right? One, he can produce a substance that is acidic. So you had acid production, you guessed on Leech.
Oh, that makes sense, yes.
And that is specifically used to dissolve tissue, which then also makes it sticky, I guess, the tissue, I guess, so that he can then attach limbs that he severed from other people to himself, which is something that you guessed for Artful Off-Boy as a possible power. So yes, he does have basically all the powers that you guessed wrongly before, which I find very funny.
Nice.
And, okay, he's one of those characters that I also thought of relatively quickly when I was like, what obscure characters do I think are interesting? And I thought it was particularly fitting because we had the character that takes off his limbs, and now we have a character that sticks limbs onto himself. Now, his thing is that he's basically rotting away. So I think that's why he's green as well, although that isn't how a real rotten corpse would look, but whatever. And so his limbs will occasionally just give out. I think organs too in some cases. And so he basically he then
he just Frankensteins himself.
Basically, but because of his powers, he can basically just like rip off someone's armor, just stick it on, and then it'll just kind of stick on and function.
just works
without necessarily having to go through like major surgery and like reattaching every muscle and everything. It's just slaps it on. He also
that sounds useful. Yeah,
he can also then get powers and abilities from the people that he took the limbs from, right? So especially if they're relevant to that limb. So, right, if he took the legs of someone with super speed, he might be able to run fast and stuff like that. He doesn't use it that much with superpowered characters, but he does have in some comics. He has in some comics. But yeah, so that is
that's pretty cool. Like, what does he do if like he has a problem with his head or something? Like,
I do believe he has unironically replaced his head before, which doesn't make sense, but yeah. Also, if he does replace his head, the things regrow the spikes, which is also, again, weird. So yeah, he has replaced his head before. And I think that specifically allows him to like tap into memories and stuff from the person they stole the head from. What exactly makes him him? You know, we have the whole thesis chip thing going on where like every part of him has been replaced at some point, so what makes him really him? Who's to say?
Yeah, like if he replaces like all his limbs and like everything, his whole body, with like one other person instead of like multiple ones, like what happens?
What if you then take all the discarded body pieces and reassemble those together?
Yeah.
These are questions that we normally don't ask unless we talk about Evil Deadpool, in which case we do ask these questions because Evil Deadpool, not in the list, but so you're familiar with Deadpool.
Wait. There's Evil, yes.
Evil Deadpool is literally just because Deadpool used to have a stalker, and she would collect body parts that were cut off from him in fights because, you know, he isn't necessarily the most careful with keeping his limbs because he can just regrow them. Eventually, she basically had all relevant body parts, although I think she had like 2 left arms or something. And so apparently, I think, I don't remember exactly the details because I think she threw them out at some point for some reason. Like she collected them and then someone threw them out or something, and then all the body parts were like in a dumpster together, and they somehow reconnected and formed a copy of Deadpool basically out of discarded Deadpool parts. And so that is Evil Deadpool. That's also, and again, I think Evil Deadpool has 2 left arms because, of course, he does. Not like they're both on his left side, but like just one arm like is like weirdly attached to the right side. That brings us to our next
sounds some character,
which is her. I'm not sure how good this particular picture is. I have a couple.
Ooh, knock off Spider-Man. But I guess it's Spider-Woman here in this case. Yeah, no, this is a spider. Yep, 8 legs. Yep. I guess it's not like an actual superpower because she's using like tools and stuff. Though yes, Spider-Man, I think, also at one point only used tools instead of actual superpower.
Okay, so since that's not the question of the game here, I'm just going to quickly explain. Spider-Man in the comics had always had a set of powers that included stuff like being able to crawl on walls or stick into surfaces, increase strength, some slight regeneration, stuff like that. It's mostly super strength and the wall clinging, and then he has web shooters, which he uses for the swinging. He did briefly in the comics gain the power to also shoot webs from his wrists, but then he lost the powers again and used web shooters again. In the movies, in the original Spider-Man trilogy, he had organic webbing. In the one where he was played by what's his face? Why am I forgetting his name right now? By Tobey Maguire. And then in the Amazing Spider-Man, duology, where he was played by Andrew Garfield, he had the web swingers, web spray, web. What are they called? Anyways, and in the Tom Holland movies, and in the MCU, basically, he also has the artificial webbing, as he would in the comics. It's the most accurate.
Okay.
But yeah, so Spider-Man always had powers, but
yeah,
but also has used tools.
All right. I don't know, like basically a copy of Spider-Man, but just as a woman and knockoff.
I mean, you're not far off. I want to give you another shot on the name. Because Spider-Woman's already taken. She has there are two superhero aliases that she has.
Is it like a specific spider?
Okay, so one of the names she's used.
I might just assume it's a specific spider.
One of the names that she's used, you should have been able to maybe guess, is Spider-Girl. Because let's not forget.
Yeah.
There's not always just the man and woman names, but also the boy and girl names. Although girl is more common than boy because I'm sure it has something to do with society. And the other tip that I can give you about her name is that she's Hispanic. I don't know if that actually helps you because
I don't think it does.
Her other name is Araña, which is Spanish means spider.
I mean, if I knew Spanish, it probably would have helped a bit.
I also did have other pictures because I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure because of the action pose and everything, because there's also this one, which is her actual Spider-Girl costume. And then I also
that looks so different.
This one, which is more like her other costume, but also
again like three different people.
I mean, three different costumes for sure. Also, definitely two different people, because like this one looks nothing like the other two versions, and she also looks decidedly more white in this one. I don't know what's up with that. But yeah. And I think we have one more.
Flatman.
So why do you know Flatman?
He is flat. What? Like, I mean, he is flat and he has a giant F on his chest. So like, I
like how I just said it as if you knew it. Like, Flatman.
Yep. So is this whole shtick being flat?
More or less.
I guess he can fit in through tight spaces.
Yeah. I mean, he does
under doors or something.
Yeah, he does have another sort of related power that you might be able to guess.
Being able to cut through stuff, like with paper?
No, okay, so his other...
Paper cut?
No.
Kind of thing?
No. He's not that flat, I think.
Okay.
I mean, I guess technically the paper parallel is probably not the most useful thing to look at when you're considering what his other power is, but how do I don't know how I can necessarily... It is definitely a related power, but I don't know how I can necessarily get you any closer.
I mean, he kind of looks like he's like slightly elastic too.
Yes.
So, maybe he can stretch a bit.
Yeah, he can stretch and he's flat. That's his power set.
Okay.
Obviously, a big thing for him is just pointing out to people that he's not Mr. Fantastic. I don't know how familiar you are with the Fantastic Four, but Mr. Fantastic...
I have, like, no clue.
Mr. Fantastic also has the power to stretch. He's not flat necessarily, but he can technically flatten himself as well. And
okay.
The Fantastic Four uniforms have the same color scheme as this costume. And also sometimes either have a 4 as their symbol, or sometimes they also have had FF on their uniform. So I can see where the confusion comes from. I
mean, at that point, he just should have just chosen a different costume.
I mean,
right?
yeah, the costume's definitely his own fault. And that actually already concludes that
one. Yeah, that went better than I imagined it would.
Yeah. Which brings us to our fact of the week. But it's okay, I'm gonna have to tell you, your audio's still not perfect. Or once, like, it was good for like a minute, and then it started getting slightly more crackly, and it only got worse over time.
Okay, so I restarted my audio engine. How is it now?
Well, at the very first moment it cracked a little bit, but now it's good again, I think.
Let's hope.
Yeah, I also restarted it on my end before.
Let's pray for the audio gods.
That definitely didn't do anything.
Yeah.
What is your fact of the week?
So, I recently discovered that apparently black holes are not such a new concept.
Yeah,
Concept's been around since 1783.
Yeah, I think I had heard of that before, though I don't remember the specifics. Enlighten me.
That kind of blew my mind. So, in a paper published by, wait, let me get the full name of this person, John Mitchell, in 1783, he proposed the existence of black holes, which he called dark stars, which I think is an arguably better name for them.
Yes, I think there have been multiple names for black holes over the years, all of which are basically at least more accurate than black hole. Dark star was the original. I think there was also some like supermassive gravity objects or something to that effect. Probably not exactly that, but like.
But that's boring though. It's not catchy.
Yeah, but
black star is like catchy and accurate.
Yeah, and it's probably the name of a superhero. Keep explaining while I research.
Most likely, like, yeah. So yeah, him having accepted Newton's corpuscular theory of light, which man, I can't read these words.
I can't help you with that.
Positted. Like, how do you pronounce that?
Post. What?
Positted. Wait. Let me plug that into Google Translate.
Sure, that's probably the best
for it to read.
The main problem for me to actually keep all the letters that you say very quickly straight in my head. I find it very difficult with just when someone spells something out for you.
Posited.
Oh, yeah, no, I know that word.
I could have guessed that.
The thing is, right? Like when you say it, I'm like, oh yeah, but like when you just throw letters at me, because my brain is processing them like one at a time, it's like no chance. If I had seen it written, I probably would have had it. But
the same thing for me with German. So yeah, basically, because Newton proposed that light is made of particles, which have like mass and stuff, I guess. He calculated that, well, if a star has so much gravitational pull, that light does not escape. Like, there gotta be a star that has so much gravitational pull such that light particles cannot escape. And that is basically the thing. He calculated that star must be larger than 500 times the size of the sun. I've not confirmed how accurate this estimate was, or calculation.
Well, they're definitely smaller black holes, but they vary a lot in size. I think the big thing about black holes is their mass, not necessarily their size, but yeah.
Yeah.
Supermassive black holes at the center of a galaxy are pretty big as well, I think.
They are.
There have been multiple characters by the name of Black Star with and without a space. There's also been a group known as the Black Stars in Marvel Comics, and in DC Comics there has been both a character by the name of Black Star and a character Black Star with double R's. And what I forgot is that apparently, check it out. Mia Smoke in the TV show Arrow briefly went by the name Black Star, which I had forgotten. So yeah, I'd seen that. So yeah, but like the moment you said it, I'm like that's a superhero name, right? Black Star, obviously superhero name.
Oh yeah, I mean, also the guy proposed a method to find those dark stars, where you just observe single stars that behave like if they are in a binary system.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that is a thing that exists, like a black hole and a star orbiting around each other as if they were in a binary system, but there are definitely things orbiting black holes, and there are also stars being absorbed by them and stuff like that. So there are definitely phenomena that you can observe.
I mean, if there's a black hole that isn't like supermassive, like regular star mass size ish, and it is in a system with another star in it, like, why not?
I think when the star goes supernova before it collapses down into a black hole, that would disrupt the other one already, and then I think the black hole might have enough.
I mean, it still can join later on.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm just at this point, I'm like more speculating than actually knowing. Anything else you want to say about black holes or early discoveries of black holes?
Not really.
Well, my fact is also a science fact, and one that I first learned about in school. But I think the most interesting part I've learned about it much more recently. Did you know that some people, when they look into a bright light, or when they like suddenly it gets bright, have a reflex to sneeze?
Wait, was it not the other way around? Like, if you're about to sneeze, you look in a bright light, you don't have to sneeze anymore?
I've never heard that.
Okay.
So
maybe I'm imagining something.
This condition affects apparently 18 to 35% of the world's population, and is fairly common. Well, it's fairly common. It affects 18 to 35% of the population, which is about a fifth to a third, give or take 2%. Like literally, 18 plus 2 is 20, and 35 minus 2 is 33. Well, minus 1.7 is 33.33. But well, you get the idea. Yes, I just made 100.03, but it doesn't matter. It's a dominant gene that is inherited. It's apparently not a single gene, which is part of why I had heard of it in school, because when we're talking about genetics, a lot of things that we're talking about were those things that can be found in a single gene because they're a lot easier to trace, like how they would spread down through a family tree, and those just serve as practical examples. But I think the most important thing about this is the name, and that is either the photic sneeze reflex, or, of course, the autosomal dominant compelling helio ophthalmic outburst syndrome. Now, that might not mean anything to you.
So much more fancy than it actually is.
Autosomal dominant, obviously, is the way it is passed down, right? So autosomal just means it's not on the X or Y chromosome, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and dominant means that you need one allele just to inherit the gene rather than both. Compelling, obviously, self-explanatory. Helio, obviously, light. Ophthalmic, I'm not exactly sure what that means, to be honest. Outburst, also very self-explanatory.
Ophthalmic, and of course, I guess, means like sort of like nasal, or like something to do with the nose.
Probably.
Maybe.
The very important point about this name being that it abbreviates to ACHOO, or achoo, which is, of course, the onomatopoeia for sneezing. And I'm pretty sure that's the only reason why that specific name was ever chosen for it.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
That is the fact. I mean, I thought the thing about it affecting up to a third of all people is also very interesting. But yeah, no, it's called achoo. That's the real fact, okay?
That is amazing. I love reading like random acronyms in science and finding these things. It's so funny.
Yeah, what is it? Weak interacting matter particles and massive. What were they called?
Oh yeah.
I forget what the other ones, the massive something objects. I forget what machos are called.
Wimp macho.
Yeah. Well, today, we're not going to be talking about wimps and machos. Actually, they would fit. So
A chew would too.
Yeah, I don't like the double O though. I think we're gonna start with adieu, like we always do.
I mean, do we maybe want to meme a bit?
What did you have in mind?
And actually start with wimp or macho?
Macho. I mean, it's arguably less optimal, but hey. Hey!
It's funny.
Well, there's a lot of black there. And I feel like it's time to now say adieu, because that just fits,
yes.
And we haven't tested anything else.
It might
in here.
It might actually be correct.
Well, it's almost.
It almost was. Nice.
Hey, that's interesting because that means that the A is most likely a prefix, right? Like amoral, asymptomatic, right? Like that sort of a thing. I'm thinking. It could of course be another prefix that starts with we're talking about ID. IE makes no sense, and I feel like D is almost would have been a good last candidate, a letter for last candidate, except like a candidate for last letter, except that it can't be. So that's also interesting. So I'm thinking S, like
alien.
Well, or that. I was thinking like something like applies, but obviously we don't have pull. But I do like. I'm just gonna pencil it in for now. And maybe we'll test some L's and N's along the way to at least see if they're at all in this. Maybe even in some spots where they point at it if we're feeling particularly froggy. Well, I'm fairly certain it's not a U. Well, actually, it's guaranteed to not be a U. So either this or that is a U, which is already fairly limited. And words starting with U do certainly exist, but UE is definitely a fairly plausible combination. So it could be something like glues. Or blues. Or something like that. So
maybe Olker or Ulcer. I don't know how it's pronounced.
Yeah, I think we actually had that before, didn't we? Ulcer.
I don't know. Maybe
it could be that too. Yes. I mean, there would be. I mean, I feel like we have to. Oh wait, the C is pointing at the spot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, okay, I'm just gonna say this. You basically guessed 4 letters. The chances of this actually being correct are fairly minimal, but I liked it.
It is.
So, well, I mean, to be fair, we know that the C has to be one of 3 spots, so it's not exactly entirely out of nothing. And the U is in one of 2 spots. Well, 2 spots. Because this one literally can't be it, even if it would make sense.
If it wasn't an L.
Exactly. So, not bad. So what do we want to guess for this? Do we want to go for the column, I suppose? If we want to test the C somehow.
Yeah.
What are other letters we might want to test?
An S would be good.
seen. It's not a very good guess.
That could work.
I mean, it is literally possible, which is the first one that I came up with. Because I was thinking scribe, right? But like none of those work. Actually, scrib would work, right?
Or script. No, never mind.
So I'm trying to think. I do like R, but I also like N, so those are fairly equivalent. It can't have an I in the row, so I guess the E's, double E's are still technically better. I mean, I don't hate scene, but if you have a better suggestion, I'm definitely open for it.
I had score, but O can't be. So.
What?
Skunk?
Oh, you can't have. What?
Skunk, maybe?
Isn't skunk spelled with a K?
Oh, that might be. Yeah, I think it is.
S-K-U-N-K, I'm pretty sure. I mean, to be fair, the S wouldn't have to be in first position. That's just something that I randomly decided on. It's just that I do kind of like having a consonant there. Because...
Yeah, I do too.
My first...
Because I don't think a vowel will follow the A. Or if it does, it feels kind of awkward.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, E does work. AE totally works in some cases. But my first thought was accurate, which of course doesn't have an S, but like it was my very first thought with the C there in second position. But it's like double A, that's very unlikely. I mean, I don't mind scene at all.
How about send?
Oh.
Basically just replacing the... Yeah.
Well... was it scant? No, I have to. I'm something, right? Scant?
Maybe?
But it can't be scant. Scunt isn't a word that I'm aware of. And there is a place called Scunthorpe, but I don't think that Thorpe is already a syllable, so it's so Scun then. I don't think scunt works, so scant makes sense. Also, well, ER, like in dial or something, technically works. Literally can't be O, not that I would expect it to be. Anything else? Well, great. The thing is, right, it gave us a bunch of gray. Like, no, not gray, like, what was it, white? I don't know. It gave us a bunch of those, like, light gray, white ones. And I'm pretty sure it's light gray, actually. But... And then it gave us a bunch of greens.
I don't know.
And it's like... It's red, yellow, and orange that we're looking for the most part. I mean, I guess if we always got green, it would also work, but... Also, the U is now guaranteed, I think, right?
It is, yep.
So that's good. Well, we used up all of our hints. Like, literally every single piece of positive information that we have now used. Like, we found the C and we found the U. So, I'm thinking including an L in there somewhere might be good in our guess. I guess we're going to go for the column because we have more for the row already. Is that a good reasoning?
I don't know. Like whatever is easier to come up with a word for.
Legit.
Perhaps.
I actually don't mind legit. That's actually a good one. I mean, obviously,
I don't know, like entity.
What do we think it is? Enter? I mean, it was enter last time, I think, but
Could be.
I honestly can't come up with much with NT anyways. Like, anti something, enter, we have, well, anything with, I guess A and, well, A literally can't be there. Inter, but that's a prefix. Intra is also a prefix. Intro, but we can't have O's. I mean, enter is the only thing I can really come up with. Huh. In which case, we might want to go for the E there. Word final E is always one of those things. Belie.
Yes, that works.
Let's see. ENI, ASB. Well. I mean, it certainly works. Which is. I definitely want to test. I'm fairly attached to testing an L somewhere. So be live would be useful. I mean, obviously that's once again doing the double E, but
can't we test the L in Alien?
Can't we test the L? I mean, we could.
I don't see a reason to test it right now.
Well, if it turns black, we know we're on a very wrong track with a lot of boys written down. Also, there could be multiple in there.
I guess.
I mean, if you have a better idea, I'm definitely open for suggestions.
No, not really. I just
beige.
Don't follow the reasoning.
Oh god, beige is terrible though because it gives us IAI, but otherwise it works.
Yep.
Actually, there could genuinely be an L in that spot as well, because it is worth noting that, of course, as I pointed out, dial is one of the words that has the IA combination, right? I mean, I don't necessarily think it's literally dials, but it could be. So, technically, IAL is perfectly legit. ENI works, like in, I don't know, denim. NTE, like an enter. ASB is a little bit sus, but...
Yeah, I'm trying to find anything for that
3
right
for
now.
4 is... Oh, you wanna have a guess of what letter can go after S but before E, not necessarily in the same word. Well, before E can be just about anything. After S, definitely the vowels.
So T and H are like big ones.
P, H, I mean, yeah, also P like an asp or an aspire.
Oh, H cannot be. Never mind.
C, technically, but K like in a skew,
Yep.
but that seems like a stretch. Or an ask, also. Well, it could be tasks, I suppose. So it could technically be a K. It could also be an E. Then the word could just be something like eel something. Haste. Then it would be.
Oh, yeah. Kelly. I think people spell it with an with an I, with a what? Wait, with a Y.
Yeah, tepid. But then we have a TD, which is a bit questionable. Terrace is way too long.
Oh no! It also cannot be haste. No H's.
Oh no, it is right. Waste. Fix that for you.
That works.
Yep. I mean, the aced works as the last 4 letters of
Paste. Yeah.
Paste. I mean, cast. Oh well, it can't be a C there, but I think
nasty.
Yeah. Right.
Also tasty at that point. But yeah.
Yeah, so the T does work there for sure. I was gonna say tense, but literally the N doesn't work. Tepid, but the D is awkward. Tests. In case we don't have T-E-S-T-S. In case we don't have enough repeat letters. Texts. It's also Teams. Well, and that's also awkward with the triple vowel thing again.
Era.
I mean, it's Latin, but I think they would allow it.
We at some point have that.
It's very possible. Again, it's
I don't particularly like it, but it works better for the last row.
It works better for the last row. You think so?
Than if we had an S there.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I still like E best in that spot, but
Yeah, I do too.
we can go French instead of Latin and call it terre. I doubt it's in there though. Also, double R is not exactly. I mean, it could work, but the thing without letters, it feels like it's testing less overall. Oh wait, I said belie. Oh no, I was gonna say we can also make it rely, but no, that doesn't work because rely is spelled with a Y, not with IE. Relies is spelled with IE, but then it's too long. Relay. But then we have a NTY rather than NTE. Also not what we're necessarily going for. Listen, right? The best I can do is belie and tepid at the moment, both of which have like 3 spots that could work and one that's a bit awkward.
Yeah. Let's go for belie then, I guess. That kind of fits the best so far.
Well, we got some things.
Okay.
I assume Genie is the word.
Yeah.
That's the only one that came up in my mind immediately. It's like Genie. I don't know what else it would necessarily be. Which gb which would most likely. Oh yeah, I'm fairly certain that the B goes there. Both because there's 2 points going towards that, and because if there is a G there, that's pretty much the only place that it can somewhat reasonably go. Basic. No.
Yeah.
IE something, IE. Maybe not. Bulge. Oh wait, no L's. I was gonna say bulge because I still think that this could very likely be an E.
No. Never mind. Eerie is written differently.
Oh yeah, no, that doesn't quite work. This one, it looked almost like it could be bulge, but it can't be the L. I think bungee is spelled with IE, right? And I don't think bunge is a word. Let's see if it is E. Burge. Budge. With a D. Because burge is like burgeoning. I think it does work. But I'm
not sure what that means.
Burgeoning? Like just started to grow sort of thing. I mean, again, just to burge, I'm not sure. To budge definitely does make more sense. Buggy. No, not without like a Y or something, right? Bulge. Oh, where I said that it doesn't work. Bunge. I'm thinking budge makes the most sense, but
I do think so too.
And then obviously again sound like dial, except it can't be L, but like diabetic, I don't know, diabolic, diabolo, I don't know. Oh, it could technically be die could technically be a prefix. So it could technically be something like,
Oh, yeah.
like die, and then just something with a. It's unlikely, but it's technically possible.
Does dia mean image by any chance? Now that I think about it.
I think only in German. I think there's a German thing. Because slideshow in German is dia show as well. But
Yeah.
I don't think that works in English. I have at least never heard it.
I mean, not in English, but like where it came from. Like, I don't know what language this came from.
Greek? It feels very Greek. I don't know. Might have something to do with day. I'm not 100% sure though. It might also. I generally don't know.
Because the diagram.
Oh yeah,
and stuff.
True. Maybe it does have something to do with the image. Huh. But then again, it's also diagonal, so I'm not 100% sure. I guess it does intersect an image or something, but like.
Yeah. Diaphragm.
Seems like they all seem fairly unrelated.
Yeah. I guess.
Dialysis. Again, dial.
Yeah.
Diamond. Also too long. Huh. Okay, right. I said this is probably an R. Let's put that in there. But there's still like 4 words that we're missing 2 letters each for, which is still kind of difficult. To be fair, normally I think when what I like to call Sudokuing it, something that we usually I think do in the next step. So we're already in a way ahead of ourselves. So I think we're doing okay.
I mean, we did have like a lot of lucky guesses though.
Yes. I'm trying to think what this letter in the top right could be. Because it has to be both a letter that word can end in, which to be fair is a lot of letters, but still. And also can go before R. Right? Because consonants are always a bit, vowels are always a bit awkward at the end of words. Technically possible, but not necessarily great. I mean, obviously we have a couple here. I mean, E's in particular. But then the question becomes, if it is, for example, a consonant, then what could it be? P? T? Well, it can't be T. L? No, it can't be L. Doesn't work. Because it could be basil, but it's probably not L. Also, is there an American spelling of uncle? As opposed to the British spelling. Uncle with EL rather than LE. Is that a thing?
I don't know. Probably not. It feels so weird.
That's what I was thinking, right? Like, because some words just never got an Americanized spelling for some reason. Even though most LE words did get the EL treatment, but some didn't. Because I was just thinking that could technically fit here as well, if that is a word.
Yeah.
U something CE. Which of course would change a lot of what we have written down here as well, because then this would something, which I wouldn't necessarily know what that could be, but it doesn't seem entirely impossible. So that's what I was considering, because it's not that the R rubs me the wrong way necessarily, but it does certainly limit our options, which I guess limiting is technically a good thing, but still. We don't want to overly limit ourselves before we know that we have to, because otherwise we might reject a perfectly good idea. So it can't be T, and it can't be C. And obviously it can't be O, H, or M. Well, I mean, it could technically... Oh, no, it can't be C, right. I was going to say, otherwise it could be basic and then Friar, but that doesn't work for a number of reasons, not the least of which being this C right here. And also, again, the IE something, IE, and then also the I here at the end.
Prior? As in to pry, but like... Yeah.
Prize. Yeah, no, I had thought of that before, but it just... Both the final... Having I as the final letter of
yeah,
word,
just...
P isn't exactly great, because then we have to find... Basically, we have to find a consonant there, which, I mean, I'm expecting this consonant anyways, but...
Wait, how about dryer?
And then it's based? No, that doesn't work. I mean, dryer could technically work. So there's a problem that it puts in I right here, which is awkward, but also I'm not sure what much else we can put there, to be honest. Wait, if it isn't I, though. It could also be
could be an A, or like a bunch of consonants.
Well, it can't be an E, but yeah. Think about it. What
can't
consonants could it...
It can't be a U.
Oh.
Not much.
Because after R, unless it's a prefix, something, then it could be just about anything, but otherwise, if it is one syllable, then erp, pretty much the same ones that could go before, right? Erg, I mean, ul, I guess, also. But, like, not much. And if this is a vowel, I mean, that should be almost forcible then, because then we just have, like, 3 different vowels that it can be, because it can't be O or E. So...
Can't be a U either. It's just 2 vowels.
Oh, right, it can't be a U, so it's just A and I, so... We could literally just brute force basically anything that could go up top here, see if something comes out. Like, that ends in Ryer or Rühr. Rühr? I'm thinking I.
In fryer, dryer, prior.
Yep. Truer. Well, it could be. Well, it can't be, but wait, when I was saying it can't be you, it can be A and I. So rear. Rear, no. Trier, no. Prier. Greer. Maybe. Greer. That's a name. Creer. Breer. I mean, if... Let's enter it for now, but it seems so weird. So, wait. Because, what is it? Diary? Oh, wait! Yeah, no, it could be a Y. And I was gonna go for this corner as everyone saw, but it's obviously here. And then it's diary.
Yes. That works so much better.
And then,
yep.
Right, because dryer would be spelled that way, actually. I think dryer is actually, in fact, spelled that way. With a Y. Like, a dryer. Like
I did actually try R in diary for this spot, but, like, did not realize that it's actually a word.
I mean, only when I put down the Y, I was like, what the... Like, when I put down the I, I was like, what could it be? And I was like, oh, diary. And then, of course, it's spelled that way. And dryer, as in more dry, is spelled with I-E. But dryer, as in too dry, is spelled with the Y. Which obviously had to be it, because it's always... But I-E would be, well, dryer. But it's a kind of a weird thing. But the Y-E... But it makes sense. And fryer as well, right? You mentioned fryer, actually. Which would also be spelled with a Y. So I'm... That was at least in some parts on me, because you basically pointed out that there's a Y without... You basically went as close as you could without actually saying it.
I mean, I myself didn't really realize that, so...
Yeah, I didn't either. Which means, again, D is the best shot here, I find, because fryer and dryer are the only ones that I can, like, come up with right offhand, and...
Based.
Yeah, but then it is eerie. I think eerie is
eerie
works,
really?
Right?
I mean, is eerie really spelled that way?
I think it might be.
Is it not E-E-R-E?
No.
No? Is it a Y at the end?
I was thinking it might have been E-R-I-E without two vowels at the beginning, but I think this might actually be correct. It's the one that I always get wrong anyways, right? Like, freaking Superior, Huron, Ontario, I think Ontario for place in the US. But, anyways, right? Like, you know the lakes? The great ones. Did you know that Flappin was a Great Lakes Avenger? You know? This is relevant to our previous topic, Sergej! Anyways.
Let's go for it.
I mean, I was about to say this seems like a solve. Yeah, I mean, dryer.
It kind of does.
Boom. Budge. Hell yeah. And then we keep going as we were. Alien. Bonus guess. Where? I mean, technically, it doesn't even matter which direction I go from here on, because it's gonna be two guesses either way.
Yeah.
What was I saying? Honestly, I'm just gonna. What did I say? Scant. And eerie. It is, in fact, spelled that way, yes. Honestly, eerie is such a weird word. I like get the spelling wrong most of the time.
It is.
So, like... I mean, at least there was not a single word in there that I didn't know, which happens, but it's not every time.
What is scant?
I wouldn't be able to tell you, but I've
barely sufficient. Falling short of a specific measure.
Oh, yeah.
Inadequately supplied.
Yeah, I guess that's where scantily clad comes from, right? It's basically underdressed.
Yeah.
Like, insufficiently dressed, right? That does make sense.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I've heard that word before.
Yes, scantily, and that's the expression that I would have most associated with, but just the word scant, standalone, I feel like I have still heard it somewhere, but I wouldn't have been able to place where. But still, right, like, sometimes I know words without knowing what they mean, okay? But it's still good enough for this game.
Same.
Eerie.
Wait, it's already second topic time? What?
Well, I do believe we've been going for close to 90 minutes, so it's not.
Wait, what?
No,
Nah,
right?
dude. The call started like 1 hour 20 minutes ago.
Okay, it's an hour 15. I honestly thought we started the call 10 minutes earlier, but it's an hour 15, right?
Okay.
We still have a second topic.
Yeah.
And songs of the week. This one is going to be over 1.5 hours long, right? It's basically unavoidable. Also,
Fair enough.
the thing about the second topic is that it's basically as long as I want it to be. And since, we haven't gone that fast, but if we hadn't played Squirrel, it probably would have been really fast if we'd done something else instead. So then I might have just stretched this topic out more. Not by what I'm doing right now, which is just randomly saying bullshit that doesn't really need to be there, but rather by reading more questions, which is what we should be doing. Cross-out questions. Okay, do you have any siblings?
Yeah.
No, sorry. How many siblings do you have?
I have one sibling.
I knew that.
Yay, exciting information.
I have 0 siblings. Who would have guessed?
Ooh, so exciting.
What app do you use most on your phone? I guess the main question is what qualifies
It's
as
going to
an
be a funny question for you. An application. What program do you use most often?
app?
Apart from like operating system stuff. Fair? Yeah.
Because it's the only thing that I pretty much use.
Ah. That makes sense. I mean, for me, it's going to be Discord.
I mean, fair enough.
Or Bluemail.
Haven't read that one.
Or Google Search.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
Not sure.
I mean, yeah, for me, it's definitely... I mean, yeah, what app you use most on your phone, it's definitely the alarm. Or the... I guess technically it's the clock, because that's all they get integrated into one. But, like, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The alarm.
I mean, if you really count that, then I guess the clock, because I check time on my phone more often than I check mails or Discord messages.
Well, I mean the question is looking at the time you using the application, because it's not an active use case, right? But if I set an alarm or I turn off an alarm, I have to actively go into the application. So I'm literally in there and changing stuff. So it's like, it does.
How about like apps that customize your background? Because I do have a custom theme on there.
Yeah, but are you using the app just by having it turned on and changing your background, or are you only using it while you're actively configuring it, basically? Right? I mean, I don't know what the answer to that is. I'm just asking.
I don't know, like...
Because for me, it's a very easy question, because, you know, it's like, oh yeah, no, I use my phone as an alarm clock, and that's pretty much all I use it for. Like, I mean, technically I could use it as a phone. I just don't. What is your favorite ice cream
Who uses
flavor?
their phone as a phone, anyway? Like,
I mean, these days,
who are those people?
And when they're using it for texting, they're usually doing it over internet rather than over mobile, like, networks. So technically,
over SMS, yep.
Most people are still using their phones more as small portable computers than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are some things that are still handled differently, that are practical for more phoning applications, and also just generally for portable devices, like the idea that it's always on, as opposed to like a computer which you turn off when you don't use it, where the phone is just locked in low power mode. Although you can do that with computers, and I do know of people that use a laptop that way, where it's like they just fold them up and it goes into like low power mode, and then just fold it open again when they use it, and it's instantly back on, basically. Which I think those people are weird, but
Mm-hmm.
What is your favorite ice cream flavor?
Amarena. I don't know if or how to pronounce it in English.
I'm not sure if that is the name in English. It might just be like dark cherry or something. I don't know.
Let me pull up trusty Google Translate.
Well, English Wikipedia doesn't
it just
Amarena cherry.
Yeah, black cherry. Like, but yeah.
Is it cherry grown in Bologna?
Some German.
And Modena, 2 cities of Italy. I mean, it's Italian, it's not German, but yeah.
Recently, also similar thing, Kiba, but that's like a totally German thing, which is German. Cherry banana.
I was about to say it just means cherry banana, yeah. It's just the first 2 letters of those words in German.
Yep.
Well, I guess I
like cherries.
I mean, fair enough. I guess my go-to is probably lemon, but also
that's also good. Yep.
I have lately not eaten that much ice cream at all, but well, actually, it's not entirely true. But like, if I go to like an actual like an ice cream place.
Yep.
I swear to God, there must be a better name for that. Like a gelateria. Gelateria. I don't know. Poggi. I've actually been to a place that was actually referred to as a gelateria because it was actually in Italy. But that's besides the point. Supposedly, it's like the best in Europe or something. I don't know. That was okay. It's just a place. I mean, they have a large selection, but like the ice cream. I mean, it tastes like ice cream. I don't know what to tell you. Where was I? Right.
Like the best ice cream I tasted was like in like a random shopping center in. Why am I blanking on a country's name? In Poland.
I feel like that's a country that I feel like culturally you're very much allowed to forget that this country exists. I mean, there was a point where basically Germany and Russia had a border in Polish territory because they were both occupying it from both sides. So,
yeah.
Right. So what I was gonna say is that if I go to an ice cream place, I'm probably gonna actually order like one of those more complex things because like just ordering a ball of ice cream is kind of the most boring thing you can order. So it's probably gonna be one of those things that actually has like strawberries in it or something. I mean, most likely it's gonna be one of those where it's like strawberry ice cream, vanilla ice cream, some strawberries in it, probably some whipped cream. Not a biggest fan. I always find it to be distracting from the ice cream, and then like some waffles and shit in there.
No, it's fine. Oh yeah.
I really don't like it. Mostly, I think because it feels almost warm, right? Even though it's probably still colder than the actual air around it or anything, but it's still because the ice cream is so cold. It always feels like the whipped cream is like really warm when you eat it from the ice cream. I don't know. I always thought it was kind of weird.
I'm totally fine with it. I just mix it a bit with the ice cream, and it's totally fine.
That might work. Honestly, it's not that I like dislike it to the point where I will like order without or something necessarily.
Though, fair enough, I only tried it once. Those fancy ice creams.
Yeah, but it's like I feel like since I don't really go buy ice cream like on the regular, and I mean, if I buy ice cream, it's more likely just like in the supermarket, just buying a tub or something, and it's like or like some prepackaged like with on a stick, like but or a cone or something, but. If I'm actually going to an ice cream place, I might as well order something fancy, I feel like, because it's not a regular thing for me. So I'll probably order something to that effect. So it's basically like a cocktail, but without alcohol and with ice cream instead. Like, I mean, different types of ice cream getting mixed together, some sauces, some garnishes, right? I was just thinking, right? It's not that dissimilar to something like a mojito, where you also have like 3 or 4 different drinks that get poured together, a bunch of different drinks that get poured together, and like a bit of mint on top, and there is actually a strawberry mojito, and I liked it. We're getting distracted again. Have you run into something while texting?
Isn't that a good thing?
I suppose. I guess these are supposed to be conversation starters, after all.
Yes. I have walked into something while texting once. When I first started texting while walking. After that, I didn't.
I don't think I've ever texted while walking. I mean, to be fair, I've barely texted in my life, so like it's not exactly... Like, I've probably sent less than 100 texts in my entire life. And some people send that many in a day.
Walking into something while texting was like barely bumping into it, like stopping right before actually bumping it.
I mean, fair
into
enough.
something.
Again, I don't think I've ever actually like texted while walking. I would probably just stop, text, and keep going if I had to text on the go. I also don't really use my phone while walking that much at all. Or really, I mean, I have probably played some games on a tablet before while walking, but like, I would still focus my attention on the walking part of it all. I've never had a problem with that, but again, I'm just not that kind of a person in terms of portable devices, which, I mean, I guess that kind of person these days is most everyone, so, but still, it's just not me. Oh, great. What year were you born?
2000.
1998. So, okay, we were born in different millennia.
Whoa. Yes, well, yes, we were.
Technically not, I think, because I think technically the millennium started in 2001 or something, but like, it's the same thing where when the people are like, actually, 2020 isn't the first year of the decade, it's the last year of the decade. It's like, no one cares. Realistically, for most everyone, it's got to be the number that ends in a bunch of zeros.
I mean, it also makes sense. Like,
are you a cup half full or cup half empty kind of person?
I don't know, like either or both. I find this question kind of awkward.
Okay. The liquid in the container takes up half of its total possible volume.
So you're a half full kind of guy.
That was about as neutral as I could word it, okay? Because I feel like, I guess you could say that, yeah, there's half of the water that could still be filled, I guess, but, I mean, the problem is...
That would be half empty kind of guy.
Just like everyone else, I consider myself a realist, not an optimist or a pessimist, right? But the problem is, again, most people consider themselves as such. And I mean, obviously, I don't think that there are that many people out there that are like to the most extreme optimist or pessimist, but we all have our leanings. And so I presumably have some. I guess I'm optimistic. You know, hoping for the best but expecting the worst. You know, it's just... I should have contingencies, but I'm generally optimistic. I feel like, because in my experience, things always end up going fine. I've never had something like go terribly bad, ever. Right? So, it's like...
Yeah.
So that kind of informs my worldview in a bit.
Kind of same.
It feels like everything is always going to be fine eventually, right? And that's not necessarily going to always be true, but like, it certainly feels true because, again, that's just what my life has been. So, I guess half full, but also I still think that the glass half full versus half empty thing is a stupid thing. And also, realistically, if you were actually asking me how much is in that mug, I would probably say it's half full, not half empty, because who actually says it's half empty?
Yeah. I guess it depends on the situation. Like, not really for cups of water, but like fuel tanks, for example. Depends what is more relevant.
Yeah, but I'd say I have a half a tank of gas, right? It's still...
Yeah.
I would still probably say it's a quarter full rather than it's 3/4 empty, or it's 3/4 full rather than it's a quarter empty.
Mm-hmm.
It just feels weird to describe something by its absence. Even...
I mean, we've already used like half our tank. That would be like the negative.
Yeah, I guess. I actually don't even know how much is in my car anymore. Like, the last time that I pumped gas was when the prices were dropping because of COVID. So, you know, there's that. So, I haven't, like, filled up my gas tank in, like, pretty much 2 years now. So, I haven't had a lot of places to drive.
Yeah.
It's also
I don't think that's good for your car.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have moved it a couple times since. I just haven't burned through an entire tank of gas, but yeah, it's probably still not great. Okay, one more. What holiday do you most enjoy celebrating? I did change some of those words around, but it still comes up to the same meaning, so it's fine. So, okay, what holiday?
I guess like Christmas, like that time of year.
Yeah, I mean, it's either Christmas or New Year's, right? And I mean, those are like a week apart. But yeah, it's just, you know, the holiday season. And I mean, first of all, right? A lot of holidays, I mean, I feel like the two main sort of types of holidays are either religious ones or sort of state-based ones, right? Where it's like, you know, like Independence Day, you know, Reunification Day, like that, those sort of things where it's like, oh yeah, no, those are very much specific to our country. And they're neither patriotic nor religious. So,
yeah.
I think that definitely sort of helps me not particularly care about holidays for the most part. And then sort of Christmas and New Year's are just because it's more family tradition than anything else, to me at least. And while we do also usually have some minor gift giving at Easter, it's again much more minor than something like Christmas, and then also like the meals at both, like having special meals at like Christmas and New Year's, like larger scale things and stuff like that.
That's like the main stuff for me, the meals.
So yeah, I mean, it's just, I would say those are the only holidays that we like really truly celebrate in a way where, again, we do technically celebrate Easter in a way, but it's mostly just like some like very small gifts that are being exchanged, and it's like, and then that's it. I feel like there's not a lot of ceremony there, so it really can almost only be like those 2 weeks, you know, like from like the 24th to the 1st, which is, I guess, 8 days, but whatever. And that brings us to the songs of the week. I was just about to do the outro. I caught myself. I'm that good.
I noticed.
Which is to say,
okay,
I'm that
so,
bad, but it goes both ways.
Okay, so my song is very timely because it is September.
Is it just me? Or is this the second time that you've used an Earth, Wind, and Fire song named after a month within that month?
It is.
Just saying.
I first did it with the parody of this called December.
Dude, it's like,
and I played it on the day of the date it was singing about.
It's...
Here I am one day off.
Oh, that's...
It's the 22nd of September.
I mean, that's the day that we're recording it, right? Yeah.
I mean, yes, it is currently the 22nd.
Oh.
It sings about the 21st night of September, which was yesterday.
Oh, fair enough.
I do remember it.
Do you remember? Yeah, okay, fair enough. So, first of all, I like the song, obviously. Second of all, what I was going to say
it is great.
Is that oftentimes with one-hit wonders, and I think Earth, Wind & Fire might have had a couple of other ones that were like reasonably popular. I don't remember specifically, but with one-hit wonders, it's oftentimes that they will try to do a follow-up that is like very strongly based on their hit, and oftentimes they do Christmas versions as well. So like, yeah, no, that is like very normal. I might have pointed it out back then, but it felt worth saying. Anything else about September?
It's a jammer. Go listen to it if you haven't.
So, my song is also relevant, not because of the date, but because of the topic. And I figured, you know, I had some songs that I was looking at, but none of them quite clicked. And I was like, you know what? Let's go back to what I did like a couple times now. Find a song that is relevant to our headline topic. And so, without further ado, my song of the week is Sunshine Superman by Donovan.
Your paws in the sea. You can just sit there thinking on a velvet throne.
Wait, is my audio broken or just...
No, I'm just mouthing along to the song that isn't playing anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I already told you why I'm using it. Any thoughts on your part?
Yeah, it's a song.
Sure is.
Feels like a road trip kind of vibe.
I guess, yeah. I can see that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Nothing much else to say about it.
I always thought the song was kind of interesting because, it does mention a couple superheroes by name, but yeah. I do want to look up, I forget if I have done it before. Sunshine Superman came out in 1966. Now, what I was wondering is, there is obviously the DC character Green Lantern that he's referencing. There have been multiple iterations of that character over the years. And I am wondering, Green Lantern, if we can determine which one it would have been in 66. Because I'm just that kind of a nerd. Earth's Green Lanterns, yes. So my candidates are Al Scott and Hal Jordan. The other ones, I believe, are all newer. Great, it's linking me to the newest version of Hal Jordan, which is obviously the 2011 version. I'm kind of looking for the original. Is there not a disambiguation for Hal Jordan specifically? There is. It just doesn't take me there.
Ooh.
Because why would it make things easy?
True.
Which I guess makes the New Earth version the original? No, that's Parallax, the entity. Former. 85. That sounds like it could be right. In which case it would have to be the Alan Scott Green Lantern, which is very possible. The interesting part about that mostly being that Alan Scott is not a very well-known character these days. That also says 85, so that's actually just when the reboot happened. Honestly, the DC wiki is unnecessarily and overly confusing, and it does not help that DC constantly reboots their bullshit.
I can imagine.
So, when it lists the main versions, multiverse, no, it says, because it says former, it says 1985 through 2011, which can't be it, because someone was singing about some Green Lantern in 66. Pre-Crisis, but those are all alternate versions. Elseworlds, other media. First appearance is 1940. Why does it then say 1985 through... And this one says 59. Okay, so it could have been either.
Wait.
It's like... They put... Actually, I don't know why I'm not actually showing it, but I'm having a whole thing about it anyways. So...
Oh, you totally could, yeah.
I have the setup. So let's go for Hal Jordan disambiguation. There we are. I mean, it works for either one. Come on, auto-playing videos. There we are. And it says here, right? Current,
Yeah.
2011 through present. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's former, 85. It's before and after the reboot. 85 through 2011, right?
Yep.
If you go to the article that they're referencing, it clearly says that the super all-playing videos first appearance was in showcase number 22 in October 1959.
Okay.
If we go to Alan Scott, is it Alan is with an E, right? Is it Scott with a single T? Fuck's sake. Green Lantern. Yeah, it's the Green Lantern Corps. I want individual ones. Alan Scott. I spelled it wrong somehow. Oh, we're at double L, I said. Which is technically possible. Okay, so here, right? Current, 2016 through present. Okay, so the autoplaying video is not the wiki-specific fault. It's wiki in general, or fandom as it's known. Former,
it's so
85
annoying.
through 2011, right? Because that's the time between the reboots. But the reboot version is effectively the same as before that other reboot, so it's first appearance, 1940. Right? July.
Great, yeah.
I don't like the DC wiki. It's just... It's very...
So confusing.
Yeah!
It's also unnecessarily so.
You're supposed to be a source of information. Why do you confuse me?
Yeah.
Plus,
Like defeating the whole purpose.
Plus, they make it unnecessarily difficult to get to like the weekly comics list, which is a lot easier for Marvel. I mean, they have one for the current week, but if you want to go to like a previous week, it's basically you have to like go through a bunch of things to actually like find it. Whereas in Marvel, it's just like a click. It's just, or 2 clicks or so, but like because it's like a tab and then
Yeah.
I swear to God, like half of the reason of why I like Marvel better than DC is just because their wiki is better, and it's not even the company's fault because those are just fan-run sites, right? But it's so much easier to find information. It's so much easier to like know in which order I'm supposed to read issues if I can actually like just look at which issue came out. I mean, I can look on the individual pages where they do list. Anyways, I'm getting way off topic. If you enjoyed this video, leave a thumbs up. If you want to see more of this and you aren't subscribed already, maybe do that. If you want to comment something, then leave a comment. If you want to talk to us, we're both in the Trash Talk Discord server, where you are also very welcome. Sergej.
I think that's about it. That's it.
That's it.